Hello, my beautiful human. Welcome back to the She Did It Anyway podcast. I am so excited you're here. Even more excited to talk about setting boundaries in business. Let's be honest, I have made so many mistakes. I was going to say all of the mistakes, but I'm in year 3.5 of business. There's going to be a lot more mistakes that I'm going to be making. But when I reflect back on maybe the things that happened throughout the 3.5 years that I didn't love in my business, whether it be with products that I put out there, like services that I've offered, clients that I've worked with, just like times that I experienced burnout, all of those times really have one thing in common, and that's that I didn't stick to my boundaries. So I'm going to hopefully save you some of those mistakes and kind of walk through what those boundaries were that I broke and why they're so important to implement. So we're going to dive right in. I know that a lot of us have been talking about this hustle culture and how we want to cancel hustle culture and all the things. And I really want to keep it honest with you. I truly believe that it is inevitable for you to be hustling, maybe not burning out, but like working really, really hard and at times long hours and feeling like, oh my God, I'm doing so much work. I'm so busy. That's going to happen. And anybody that tells you like they only work an hour a day is either lying or they just have a massive team that delegates all of the stuff that they need to do to reach that 1 million, 2 million, $10 million business that people are claiming on having, right? So that's like the one thing that I want to highlight is that if you are trying to reach this big goal, you're going to have to do the work to get there. Like it's just inevitable. And I hate seeing people use the marketing tactic of, oh, I only work 1 to 2 hours a day or 1 to 2 hours a week and living my life in Italy and I'm making $10 million. It's like, and then people sign up for their program because they want to make the $10 million only working an hour a day. And it's like, that's just not going to happen. That's like the first thing of understanding like hustle culture. I totally understand people want to cancel it because it's like burning out and people are discouraged and all the things. But I think that it's also very, very wrong to kind of put that messaging out there that you don't have to bust your ass to reach that big goal. I realized that very quickly. However, because I wanted to hit these numbers that I had projected for my business, I was also bending on boundaries that I definitely should not have been bending on. And that came to working hours that I was not happy working. Like I remember when I first launched Brand Business Accelerator, which is our business course, all of our calls were at like 6:30, 7:00 p.m. I'm not joking. For about a year, I missed family dinners every single night because I had a coaching call. And at first I was like, oh, this is fine. This is great. It works for my clients. No big deal. Not a problem at all. And then after like, a few calls, honestly, like I would say after like the first 2 rounds of Brand Business Accelerator, that would say like, it's like 6 months that I was like, I can't do this. I'm like burning out. I want to be upstairs with Sebastian and Matt. And I felt like I don't have a choice. I have to do these calls at these times because that's the only time that my clients were available. The second I changed that perspective and I changed the calls to 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, people still showed up. If they're investing, they are going to make the time to attend these calls because they have a commitment and they're literally invested because they invested. I feel like more people need to talk about that because we are changing all of our hours and our times to accommodate our clients and because we want to hit these goals and we want to be, client pleasers and all the things and people pleasers. But the problem is I know when my energy is super high and it is damn sure not around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Like I am at a peak from 6 a.m. until about 3:30 p.m. And then I just hit this wall. Coincidentally, that's around the same time that Sebastian comes home. So your girl has no choice but to kind of shake it off and do all the things with him. But that also means that I need to have that energy for him. That's not fair for him to come home and have me be like, I'm so sorry, bud. Like, I'm sorry. I have one more call and it's after 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Like that just doesn't sit well with me. And I felt like I was maybe not showing up like that because I do have a very good, like a poker face and I'll be like, oh, it's fine. Like I want to be able to provide the energy and what my clients paid for. So it was fine. But literally after I would end these calls, I would feel so drained and so sad that I'm like, okay, well, Seb's already sleeping and I missed him. And so that was one of the boundaries that I didn't actually realize needed to be a boundary until I experienced it. And I was like, oh no, I need to put a boundary in place. And I was really, really scared. Like I was really scared that that if I had implemented these boundaries that my business would suffer, and the complete opposite happened. And I'm so, so happy that I learned that along the way. And I really hope that if you're listening and you're experiencing this, that you take this as a sign to change up the times that you are doing work and maybe taking on client calls or working with your clients because you feel like these are the only times that they're going to work with you, because it's not true. If they want to work with you, they will. If they want to, if he wanted to, he would. The second boundary that I feel like really stood out to me when I was reflecting on everything in business and really what I wanted to talk to you about today was when we do have these big goals that we want to reach, we see all of these people in the industry doing so many different things in your specific industry. Sometimes we think that, oh, we have to do it too. So I'll use a perfect example. I kicked off Empowered Confidence with Brand Business Accelerator, our business course. And that's one of my favorite services that I offer. We have two of them, Brand Business Accelerator and Personal Brand Power. Those are our two main courses. One focuses on business, one focuses on your personal brand. And what's really interesting is, although I had a very clear vision of what I wanted the services to be for Empowered Confidence, I was getting pulled left and right, comparing myself and comparing my offers to what already existed in the industry. And so I would see someone create a membership and I'm like, okay, I'll create a membership. I'd have someone reach out to me and be like, oh, can you do one-on-ones with this course and an in-person? And I'm like, sure. And I was literally hustling in the worst way possible of adding constantly new services and new offers and customizing everything to the point where you would think because I was generating more revenue that this was great from a scalability perspective, but it actually was hurting me because I couldn't scale in the places in my business that I wanted to scale because I was getting bogged down in all of these different services that I was customizing and offering that didn't align with the bigger picture of what I wanted. And the bigger picture doesn't necessarily just have to be financial. The bigger picture can be your freedom, your time, your schedule. Like that to me is way more important than just the money that I'm making. And so when I'm thinking about did I hit my goal this quarter, this year, it doesn't just mean financially. And I believe that once you start hitting those financial milestones, you'll quickly realize oh, wait, this is not what I aspire to have, or this isn't making me as happy or fulfilled as I thought it would be because I'm burning the F out and I have no time, I have no hours, I'm doing services that I don't want to do. And that reflects in your energy, which you should not be doing because then that is giving a poor experience to someone else or to you. So I realized pretty quickly that I had way too many offerings that maybe aren't even public facing that I was doing internally because I just wanted to help as many people as possible. And so I took a second, I reflected of okay, well, what are other things that I really want to do to support my clients? And I realized I wanted to double down in creating just always improving Brand Business Accelerator and that curriculum. And I know that I want to double down on personal branding because that is my bread and butter and that's what I focus on and truly believe I'm an expert in. So I'm going to create a course for that. And so now those are our two main offerings. You want help building or starting a business, scaling your business, Brand Business Accelerator is for you. You want help building, monetizing, and scaling your personal brand? Well, Personal Brand Power is for you. Those are two things that we focus on. And so knowing that I cleaned up our services so much, I have a VIP day, which is really, really great. And so again, when I was reflecting on, I'll tell you why it's great in a second, but when I was reflecting on what offerings I wanted to put out there that really fueled me and gave my clients the largest transformational experience working together, I realized, okay, well, I love these courses, done, I'm creating them. I feel really good about it. I want something where it's in person and it's very fast results and they can leave with a very clear transformation and something that is tangible, right? So you come in saying, hey, I want to do this, you leave with that X, right? And so that was what a VIP day was. And so I created that and I felt so fulfilled doing it. And every single time I have my VIP days in person, or even we do it virtual for half a day, and it's the best thing ever. And it's so crazy to see that once you start implementing these boundaries and really, 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 really understanding where you want your energy to go, your alignment with the services that you offer and the clients that you attract is just insane. It's something that I could never have imagined. And so that just makes me so happy that that's where I am in my business now. But I wouldn't have been able to get to that area or that clarity without understanding that I had to implement these boundaries. And so the biggest things that really highlighting is figuring out what times I was working that I didn't want to be working. Is this actually helping me reach that bigger goal. Understanding like, hey, I know I want to hit this financial number, but I don't need to be burning out and adding these services that I'm not aligned with, that I'm not happy showing up for, just so I can do that. And so implementing those boundaries. Another thing is really being able to say yes and no to the opportunities that like fuel you. If it's not a hell yes, it is a hell no. If it's not a hell yes, it is a hell no. If I feel inside like, do I really want to do this? I'm not doing it. Like, I'm just not. It's really, really important for me to not only remind myself that, but remind all of my clients as well that like, if it's not a hell yes, it is a hell no. And that is like the end all be all of how I gauge the opportunities that I say yes to. Because trust me, I have said yes to so many things that I did not need to be doing. And I went there and I felt it. Like I was like dreading showing up. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, why did I say yes to this? So definitely learning the hard way and making the best out of it and out of every situation once I get there. But outside of that, like if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And what's really cool is that once you start saying no to the things that you don't want to do or that don't 100% align with you, you have more opportunities and more time and more space to say yes to the things that do align with what you want to do. And it's just, I'm telling you, like the happiness that you're going to feel and the fulfillment that you're going to feel is so much better than just running around and saying yes to everything. So those are like my biggest thoughts around boundaries that you need to be setting in your business. And I hope this helps. Let me know if you have implemented these boundaries, are actually listening to this and you're like, okay, it's time for me to change these things and implement these boundaries, and tell me which one that you are going to start implementing first. I want to hear from you. So send me a DM. And if you can share this episode on your story, that would mean the world to me. I'm so grateful for you and I cannot wait to talk to you soon. All right. Love you. Bye. And don't forget, no matter what, she did it anyway.
You did it, Mom.